Hello friends, today I'm going to talk about encapsulation. What is encapsulation? As you all heard, encapsulation came from capsule. Okay, in your real world, you talk about the medicine, which is a capsule. Capsule contains the medicine. When you talk about the Java talks about encapsulation, which means it does the same function that it is protecting your medicine, but in the coding way. Okay, so what kind of data that you want to protect, those are being handled by encapsulation. Okay, there may be some data that you don't want to be public, which means you don't want anybody else to have access except you, right? So those things are capsuled, so those things are encapsulated, which means those things are the ones that you want to protect against anybody having, right, anybody having visibility of. So let's get that going, right? So for that I have created a class person. Let's open this up. It is just a brand new class. So what information could person have, right? You don't want anybody to see this basically, right? In age, something like that, right? What else? What else you don't want anybody to see? You don't want anybody to mess up your age. You don't want anybody to mess up your last name or first name or social security number or a bank account number or something like that, right? So to do this, you want to protect. If you don't protect, what happens is anybody outside of this class is going to create an object of this class person, and then they'll try to override or access these guys. You don't want them to happen that. So to do that, you first have to create a private. So as you know, private doesn't let this guy go outside of this class, right? But it is not done there, right? You will have to define this so that they can have at least, utilize these things outside of this class. To make that happens, encapsulation does, it provides you public getters and setters. That's how you do. So you set the value and get the value. Okay, how we do that? There are two ways you can do. Right click here, first thing, get your variable, whatever you need, declare them, then right click, here's source or get generator getters and setters, and then you get this thing open up, select all, and then it does creates for you. See, everything's there. Okay, it has get set. But this is not the fastest way. I want to type it in, even though you're typing the same thing. So what it is public void set first name, right? And then okay, now what it is here you initialize, you get this variable declared as a first name. Okay, and here in the set name, what you are saying is, in set name you first set the name what you want to be, and then you give this value a value, right? So what do you do? Dot so this dot first name equals, okay, so what you're saying, the first name which is here is, this one's a value is a private, but you want somebody to access this guy to give the parameter, and based on that parameter it is going to retrieve that value, and that is what it's replacing for this guy. So you are basically giving value for this guy. Okay, and what it does with the getter, so public string, it's a string type, get first name, and that has no parameter because you are just retrieving the value, right? return, and then what it does, now this is going to read the value from here. So this fills the value here, and once you fill the value here, it's going to go here, get this value. So what this does, this is protecting you to directly have access to this guy. You go through these channels. You want to get the value, get this guy. You want to set the value, set this guy. You mess up as much as you want with this. And since this is a method, you can put a conditions to it. What kind of value, what patterns you want to be set. You want to restrict these values to be, certain conditions. You can put all those code lines here and then put the value in, right? So what else? What else we have? We have, that's the first name, right? Let's do that simple way. Copy and paste. So it's the first name, now last name, right? This is not the first name, this is last name. Okay, so this is the string type. I have an age also here. I'm going to add that. Age is int. Set age. Okay, age. So here, I think you pretty much get this all. This dot age equals this. Oh, that's not string. So now it's all set. So here what happened is, that's int. So here what happened is public, no, not here. Public void set age, and then age, int get age, void setter, string getter, void setter, int getter. So what happens? You're setting and getting. Set first name, setting and getting last name, right? Setting and getting age. And here, if you notice, quite a few things that you need to know. Why are we putting same name? Doesn't have to, but it just is a standard that it's a coding standard. You could just put this. It doesn't have to be first name to first name, but that's all what it represents, right? It works the same way. It doesn't have to be, but that's the standard. When you code the Java, you follow the pattern that most people do, the organizer in your company does. It's just a preference, right? Somebody set up the preference. So that's what it is. So here, when you run this, there's nothing you can run. Okay? The main purpose of this guy is not to run here anyway. This guy is just to store your value, protect your value. Just take it as a database, right? So this is setter getter. Everything's just setter getter. That's what this is. Now what you want here, let's create this other guy, right? Person details. This is the guy who's trying to get information from this guy. So what do? Okay. Now what do you want here? You want those informations now to be used, right? So let's put some public void. Let me create one get person details, right? So I want to create an object of that guy. Right? I want to create an object, and then I want to print Eclipse is pretty much not happy. So I want to print p.get first name, right? p.get last name, right? p.get age, right? All I'm doing is just concatenating this, just adding the values, and this is printing it out. I'm calling this method now, and you see what happens. You basically did not give any value here, and nothing's gonna print. It's just null, null, right? Int default to 0, string defaults to null. You have nothing. To do this, what do you have to do first? You have to first set. Let's try to get the access of that. So what is this? Person details. Get p dot does it let you do this? We have that variable there, right? It doesn't even give you any options. Change the visibility to package. That means you have to put it at least protected, or replace the setter. It just doesn't work. It doesn't let you do anything, right? So you have to do this as p dot set age. You can put age as 23, right? First name as so now you are setting this value up. Now you run them. Now you see that value is being printed. Bob Smith is 23. But is that what you really want to do? We want to go up a step, okay? So let's go to this guy, person. I don't want to, continue to do set every time. I want that to be handled by this guy. So to do that, here we don't have that defined. So what we want to do is we want to define something called constructor. That's where it comes picture. Public person, right? String, first name, so that's what I want. Okay, this dot first name equals same way as you've been doing. Okay, this dot age equals age. Now you see what happens. What is this? Last. So what he did, he just created a constructor called person. Person is a class name, but this time we would no longer run with the default constructor. Remember, no longer works this. I want the parameters to be passed. Every time if you want to get the information for this guy, please pass this value. Without passing that value, I don't want you to even touch this. I'm putting the rule there. And what I'm saying is, then as soon as you pass this value, I'm going to replace this value with these values. Okay? And I'm going to set those values into the form it is being called. So that's what I'm doing. And again, these names can be same thing. This is called from this guy, but this you can change however you want. But that should reflect to this. This is this. This is this. You put the same. Okay. So since this is calling the default constructor, now we're going to put the names. Now what is the first name? It has to be same sequence. Let's say Bobby, right? Right? And then let me put the age for Bobby as a 25. Now we don't need the sets anymore. So look how easy it is. Now you can run this. So what it is doing, it is printing out these values for you. Okay, so what do you see? You see this. So if you see here, we have a Bob Smith 25. It's coming from here. Basically, are concatenating the whole thing. These are the values that is being passed as a constructor from person class, right? I want to elaborate this guy, something different. Okay, I want to get something being called from. Is that all I want? Then I don't want to define like this. Sys out. I don't like that. Okay, so let's do that. To do this, what you have to do is we have a class person. It has a constructor. The constructor is passing the value, and I want to print out the object of this guy. So to do that, there's a way you can do. You have to do this. So public, you have to override this toString method. You can give annotations like that, and here, since it's a string, you have to return the string type, right? So what I want to return, I want to return this guy, first name. You don't have to get this, like copy it from there, and then I'll just close this out. So look how beautiful it is now. Anybody who calls this object and wants to print the object is going to give me this whole value. Override toString method for this guy, which has this value, right? And what I'm doing, get first name, it's getting the first name. Get last name. As soon as you get the first name, print this out. So let me run this guy. It has nothing, right? Right now it is not printing. So if I want to print, all I want to print is this object. Okay, this object. So let's see. So boom, and this is how the code gets so clean. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this pretty much clears out you on understanding encapsulation. So what it does, you start from here, getting get the variable private, declare them as a private so that nobody have access to it. Create a constructor, provide those constructors argument what you want to be. Usually this has to cover, you can overload them the way you want, and then provide the getters and setters for this. If you want to get some beautiful output, override this toString, return the string type, give you this value. Then you come here, other class, which is going to implement that. Person details, basically you're trying to run this guy out, right? All this is doing is inside the main method calling this guy out, but what this guy is doing, it is basically creating an object of the person. I'm not extending this, okay? I'm not extending class person. All I'm doing is just get this guy out, and I'm printing this object, and it's giving me this output. So there's no no dirty codes. Everything's very clean and clear, and I hope this has been very helpful for you understanding, and it has been very clear. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and please continue to watch my video and subscribe my channel.